Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. Leora Lorraine Smith is a Student Service Specialist Senior at the American Indian Institute at Mesa Community College. She's also an advisor for the Intertribal Student Organization, and with us today, she's going to be telling us about the upcoming great Indigenous events happening at Mesa Community College this spring. Leora, welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm super excited to learn more about you and chat with you. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and things like that.
Ja, Leora Smith Ginishia. Twittini Nishle, Tobaha Dashichi, Ashahid Dashiche, Kishinti Dashinelle. Hello, everybody. My name is Leora Lorraine Smith. I am originally from Seaje, New Mexico, also known as Standing Rock, New Mexico. I am a proud mother of two beautiful daughters who attend school here in Tempe, and they are literally my driving force behind all my hard work and dedication, and they are my primary goal, and they make me want to make a positive impact in the world that they grew up in. Right now, I currently serve as a Student Service Specialist Senior at the American Indian Institute here at Mesa Community College. I've had for over 3 years. In addition to that, I'm honored to be the advisor for the Intertribal Student Organization, also known as ISO. Here we are with our Indigenous student population. We do have many student organizations here on campus, and just to kind of boast and kind of be very proud of our Indigenous student population here. ISO is actually one of the biggest student clubs here on campus, and we've also won awards such as Student Club of the Year. We continue to hold trophies for things as like donating food items to our surrounding communities and things like that, which is really amazing. Within my journey, I've also here at Mesa Community College, within the district, I've actually worked here for over a decade, and during which I've had the privilege of serving students within the financial aid department. I've also had the pleasure of serving as president of our United Tribal Employee Council. Here is where we advocate for our Indigenous employees working within Maricopa Community Colleges. So through my work here at AII and my direct involvement with our ISO students, I've discovered this career path is where I can really make the most meaningful and lasting impacts. It's truly a role that aligns with my values and aspirations.
Well, I've worked with you before, and I have the highest respect, and I know what a hard worker and how dedicated you are to all the students at MCC. I know MCC's got a lot of Indigenous students there. How many are enrolled this year?
For this semester, we are just a little over 1,200 Native students.
Wow. And that's the most of any of the Maricopa Community Colleges, right?
Correct. Out of all 10 Maricopa Community Colleges, Mesa Community College has the highest Native population, and we're so very proud of that.
And I know that a lot of that is due to the fact that you're so active and you do so many things out there. Does MCC, Mesa Community College, I think they've got a powwow planned. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. This is one of our biggest events that we have every year. So our Thunderbird Powwow, that's our designated name for it, is our annual powwow. This is actually going on our third year. It's a signature culture event that celebrates Indigenous nations from across the country, and it typically has up to over 500 attendees. Our attendance is just growing every single year. This event is actually hosted and organized by the Intertribal Student Organization and the American Indian Institute. And the purpose of the powwow is just to showcase our Indigenous cultures in an educational setting, providing students, faculty, and the broader community with an opportunity to engage and learn about traditions they may not be familiar with. We hold this powwow on our college campus so that we can create a space for cultural education and awareness. We're reaching younger and more diverse audiences every single year. This event not only serves as a celebration of our Native American culture, but it also acts as a platform for cross-cultural exchange, fostering education, unity, and respect for our Indigenous traditions in a contemporary setting. In this urban setting that we currently live in and thrive in and are resilient to, it's a meaningful occasion that promotes understanding and appreciation for our culture within our own community. So that's why it's so important to us and our students. During this time, we'll also have, of course, we have our dancers and our singers and our drummers. We'll also have our arts and crafts vendors. We have over 50 arts and crafts vendors right now that are signed up to participate. And we also have some food vendors that will be there. One thing that we're changing this year is we will be having more food trucks and things like that, because every year we do have this, the food vendors that do come and attend, they always sell out by, the second grand entry. So hopefully this year we're able to provide a little bit more food for our audience. And then the powwow will actually be held here at Mesa Community College. It's on our campus. It's on the east side of the football field. It's going to be held on March 8th, starting with the gourd dance at 11 a.m. And then we will have our grand entry at 1 p.m. and then again later that evening at 7 p.m.
It should be perfect weather. I mean, perfect. So, okay, so it's going to be Saturday, March 8th. Is this free?
Mm-hmm. It is free and it's open to everybody. Everybody is welcome. The only thing that we ask is that you come with an open heart, open mind, show respect and kindness, and have a great time. We're just excited to be there with everybody, and we want everybody to come and join us and be a part of this vibrant, exciting experience.
I attended last year. It's a great event. And then I think I saw something that you're also having, I think it's like a youth gourd dance or something I saw. And that's in April. And what is that?
So for that event, that is our youth mentorship gourd dance. And we're also adding in a college and career fair into the gourd dance. So it's also going to be here at Mesa Community College. It's going to be around the clock tower area. So it's right in the middle of campus. It's going to be held April 12th, and it's going to start at 10 a.m. So for this Youth Mentorship Gourd Dance, we are actually thrilled to be partnering again with the Gourd Dance Committee. We partnered with them last year, and it went off. It was amazing. We had over 200 attendees. We had vendors. We had so many spectators coming. And it was really amazing to see community come out. And it is on a Saturday as well. But alongside the dancing, we'll be hosting the college and career fair, where we're inviting campus departments, student services, and academic programs on campus so that they're able to provide information to our audience and also students that will be attending. So there are still spaces available if you are interested in tabling or being a vendor at this event as well. And it is free.
Okay, I know we're almost out of time, but I do want to ask you, so how can listeners find more information about the upcoming Indigenous events happening at Mesa Community College, and how can they contact you?
Sure. So the most up-to-date information, believe it or not, will be through our social media. We try to send out as much information via email through Native Health or Phoenix Indian Center, but our most up-to-date information on events would be through our Facebook page, which is at Mesa CC American Indian Institute. And then also we have our Intertribal Student Organization Instagram. So there we have all of details, flyers, and everything for these events as well. And that can be found at intertribal_MCC. And then also, if there's any other questions, I'm very easy to find because my email is leora.smith@mesacc.edu. And if you send me an email, I'm more than happy to start that conversation.
Well, I got to say, you're always super responsive, and I really appreciate you coming on and telling us about the Youth Mentorship Gourd Dance, and also the powwow. And I know that we're looking forward to attending, and we'll be getting the word out. So thank you for coming on today, Leora. We totally appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, and this is a great interview. Appreciate your time.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, Susan Levy talks with Rhiannon Worker and Tara John about National Nutrition Month. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Bring That River Home by Ray Zaragoza and Bize.
Sand beneath my feet, salt of the earth, coming back to me, start of rebirth. Carry me, carry me, carry me to the water. Wash my body and bathe me in the smoke. Carry me, carry me, carry me to the altar. And finally, bring that river home. 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 Love flowing east, lost to the wind.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and National Nutrition Month, which is held annually in March, focuses attention on the importance of making informed food choices and developing sound eating and physical activity habits. So in the studio with us today to tell us more is Native Health's WIC Director, Rhiannon Worker, and Tara John, and she is Native Health Certified Diabetes Educator. And hello and welcome back, Rhiannon and Tara. Super excited to have you and learn more about National Nutrition Month. So before we get started, Rhiannon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, your background, and all about WIC?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me again on the podcast. My name is Rhiannon Worker. I want to introduce myself in Navajo first. I'm Sanjakine Nishle, Kiaani Bashishtin, Kitlatini Dashate, Auto Torajini Dashanele. I'm also from Tuba City, Arizona. I was raised there majority of my life. I graduated from there and I went straight to school at Arizona State University. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition, otherwise known as Dietetics, in fall of 2022. And then I went straight into my internship, which took a couple months. And then I passed the RD exam in May of 2024. And I am here at Native Health as the WIC supervisor and registered dietitian. I got into nutrition because I personally have a family history of type 2 diabetes, and after learning a little bit more about it in high school, I realized how much an impact nutrition has on nutrition-related diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, things like that. So that's just a little bit of a background of me.
And Tara.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and introduce myself again, or in Navajo too, but my name is Tara. So Yat Eshe Tara John Yushia, Nakaidene Glashche, Bushishchin, but Atni Deshache, Tachitni Deshanele. Hi, my name is Tara, and for me, I actually grew up here in Phoenix, Arizona. I moved here when I was about 10 years old and graduated from high school here. Once I was done, I went ahead and did some time at U of A. However, I ended up dropping out, and then a couple of years later decided to go back to school. Initially, I was interested in nursing, but then I took a nutrition class, and that nutrition class definitely made me think a lot more about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And after that class, I went ahead and redirected myself towards nutrition and dietetics. So when I started off at ASU, I went ahead and continued to do the nursing since I started off on that journey, but also doubled up on my courses and did nutrition and dietetics as well. By my second year at ASU, I went ahead and went full-blown nutrition and dietetics and graduated in 2017 with my bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics. And once I was done, I actually didn't go straight into my internship. I went ahead and spent some time working. I worked for a really great organization in Tempe called Kids Zone, which really gave me a solid foundation on creating recipes and lesson plans and presenting to kids. After I was done with that, I went ahead and worked with WIC for a little bit, and that gave me a really solid foundation on nutrition education and delivering nutrition education. Once I was done working at WIC, I went ahead and worked at Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community as their community health educator for diabetes prevention services. And that job definitely inspired me again to apply for my internship. So after that, I went ahead and did my internship over at PIMC, took my RD exam, and applied here at Native Health.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're both here.
Yeah.
So you got interested through school.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rhiannon, you got interested in personal history.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, but you're both RDs and all of that. I know that, Rhiannon, you work more with pregnant women, or maybe you do Tara as well.
Yeah.
But pregnant women, and WIC is for up to age 5, correct?
Yes, age 5. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Tara, you work as the diabetes educator. You work with pregnant women here?
I mean, they do get referred out to me, so
Okay.
I do a lot of diabetes education, but I also do general nutrition education as well. So if you have...
Anybody?
Yeah, just about anybody who if you feel like, you need some additional education, or if your provider, the provider puts in a referral to me, then you can go ahead and set up an appointment with me, and then we can go ahead and, I can answer any of your nutrition-related questions.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to see you, they would need to be a patient, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or a client? It has to be medical, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So go ahead and following up with your provider just so we can get some general background information, and then you can go ahead and set up a visit with me.
Okay. So Rhiannon, let's back up a second. Tell me a little bit about WIC. So is WIC the same in Phoenix as it is in Florida and New York? Is it the same across the country? Is it everybody pregnant and under the age of 5 and they have to meet new, income requirements?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that's pretty much it. So all of the WIC programs were funded by the USDA. And then every state is going to have their own specific policies and procedures. Here in Arizona specifically, it is all based off of income, as all of the other WICs in the country. So we serve pregnant women, women who are breastfeeding, infants, and then children up to age 5. And specifically here at Native Health, we do have 2 locations. So we have our main location off of 16th Street in Highland. The address is 4602 North 16th Street, Suite 201. And then we also have our other location in Mesa, which is at Native Health Mesa I don't remember the address.
777 West Southern.
Yeah, that one.
Building C in Mesa.
Yeah.
And then are you also going to have one at the new building at 8800?
Yes. So that is coming up pretty soon. I'm not exactly sure how often it's going to be open, probably 1 to 2 days out of the month. So that's just to kind of expand our services in that area too, because we do get a lot of clients who live in that area. So
Native Health SWIC is run through Intertribal Council of Arizona. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to kind of clarify, because this is always something that comes up in, I don't know, every day. So there are 3 agencies in Arizona. So there's ITCA, which is Intertribal. So that's us. We also have Arizona WIC, and there's also Navajo Nation WIC. So depending on which one you apply to, you just got to ask, because sometimes people get confused about that too.
And is there also Maricopa County WIC?
Yeah, that will be Arizona WIC.
Okay, so each of the counties are under Arizona WIC. Is that correct or no? Or does it not matter? Maybe it doesn't matter. So the biggest message is Native Health is Intertribal Council of Arizona WIC, and then there's Navajo Nation WIC, and then there's all other WICs.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, all right, we'll get at that.
Okay,
all right.
thanks.
So, Tara, tell us a little bit about National Nutrition Month, which starts in March, right?
Yeah, so a couple of things to know about National Nutrition Month is it was established in 1973 by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And during the month of March, everyone is invited to learn about making informed choices and developing healthy eating and physical activity habits. So this year's theme is actually Food Connects Us. And every single week there is a new theme. So for week 1, there is Connect with Food. And if you go to the eatright.org, it'll actually tell you different ways that you can participate in each week. So week 1, Connect with Food. So you can participate by learning to cook new recipes, exploring where your food comes from, learn more about community resources such as SNAP, WIC, and local food banks. Week 2 is Connect with a Nutrition Expert, so you can go ahead and ask your doctor for a referral to a registered dietitian. You can find a dietitian who specializes in your unique needs, or you can receive personalized nutrition information to help reach your nutrition goals. And then for week 3, it's Explore the connection between food and culture. And you can do that by experimenting with different recipes. That can include your cultural foods and traditional foods, and enjoying meals with your family. And then week 4 is also building connection across all stages of life. So you can go ahead and learn about how nutrients needs may change with your age. This could include also healthy foods from all food groups, and then focusing on balanced and sustainable eating habits. And I did want to mention, too, that there are 2 dates to keep in mind for this particular month. The first one is Registered Dietitians Day, which is...
Very important.
Yeah. So Registered Dietitians Day, which is going to be on the second Wednesday of March 12th. And then there's also another day to keep in mind, too, which is Nutrition and Dietetics Technician Registered Day, which is celebrated on the second Thursday of March for National Nutrition Month.
And what's that one again?
So this is the Nutrition and Dietetics Technician Registered. So this is before becoming a registered dietitian. Some people once they're done with becoming, once they're done with some of their prerequisites, with the nutrition and dietetics, they'll go ahead and check to see if they qualify for the dietetics technician registered exam, and then they'll go ahead and take that and become a certified DTR.
Okay, but for you guys, March 12th is RD Day. All right, so we will be honoring you that day and your hard work and dedication.
Thank you.
So, Rhiannon, I want to bounce back to you. What's the best and easiest way to start making healthy eating choices? Is this like easy? Do you wake up one day and go, I want to eat better today and maybe not have my fancy latte and maybe have a glass with water with some lemon in it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think this goes back to the stages of change. It's just going to depend on, how ready that person feels. But if they are in that action stage or preparation stage, the easiest thing to do is just start small and make realistic changes. I can't say that enough, because if you go all out or you have this all or nothing mentality, then it's just going to make it a lot harder to sustain over time. So what I mean by this, for example, is say someone wants to increase their fiber intake. So if you're going from no fiber at all to trying to increase the fiber, just start with maybe 1 serving, whatever that might look like for you. And I always emphasize adding versus taking away. So for example, if you got eggs every morning, I know they're expensive now, but just pretend you get eggs every morning. Say you like bell peppers, just chop a little bit in there and add it to that, or maybe spinach, or maybe you want to, I don't know, have your vegetable for a snack, just having it readily available. Dinner, adding something to that, just looking at what you already eat and adding to it is, what's going to be the easiest change for that, and being reasonable as well.
Okay, and Tara, would you agree with that, or do you have any other tips on the best and easiest way to start making healthy eating choices?
Yeah, I really liked what Rhiannon had mentioned about setting the SMART goal for yourself. So something that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So starting out with that, like she had mentioned, and then building up on it.
So just adding rather than taking away. I think that's a good tip.
Yeah.
And that's easy. I mean, everybody can add a little bit of vegetables to their meals somewhere during the day.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be vegetables. Say it's water intake, or they want to, I don't know, whatever it might be, so.
You mean rather than having some energy drinks or Gatorade, or some sugary sports drinks? Having some water, lemon maybe, maybe some fruit-infused water or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way, like thinking of, when you're wanting to increase your physical activity. If you go all out that one day, right?
You're never doing it again.
You're never going to want to do it again. So starting off small.
Okay, so baby steps. All right. So Tara, what is your favorite fun and easy nutrition tip?
My favorite fun and easiest nutrition tip is actually what Rhiannon had mentioned, is thinking about, different ways where you can add some additional vegetables to your meal, and thinking about creative ways that you can do it too. And then reminding yourself it doesn't have to always be fresh. It can be canned, and it can also be frozen as well. But I did like what she had mentioned, taking something like eggs and then adding some additional bell peppers to it, or adding some spinach to it, adding some mushrooms to it, and sprinkling some cheese on top. So that, I think for me, that's the funnest way and
an easy way. And so now, since eggs are kind of expensive right now, like I was thinking like maybe avocado toast, and with your mashed avocado, putting in some, I know I put like a lot of cherry tomatoes on it, some onions, garlic sometimes, some peppers.
You're fancy.
Yeah,
I just
had fancy, like a lot of vegetables on it, and then maybe like a little tiny sprinkling of maybe some cheese, but a lot of vegetables, because you can get a lot of vegetables on an English muffin or a piece of toast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good easy tip. All right. So Tara, tell me, so what is your favorite, or tell us about some Indigenous ingredients and their nutritional value? Is there a favorite one? Do they all have, well, not that everything has everything, but like what Indigenous ingredients do you use or do you like, and what kind of nutritional values do they have?
I think my favorite traditional ingredient is going to be, as far as more traditional, I think beans is probably my favorite one. And then more contemporary, I would have to say potatoes. But
okay, well, let's start with the beans. Which kind of bean?
Lately, I have been using the tepary beans a little bit more.
Those are awesome.
Yeah, they are. And the nice thing, too, is I've been participating in some of the classes offered here at Native Health, and also going to the garden and learning from the garden tech a little bit more about the tepary beans. And that's definitely a favorite one. Good source of fiber. You could make, I found out, brownies with it, which I think is...
Ooh.
Yeah, you can make brownies. Tepary beans, and they're what? They're high in fiber, and they're drought tolerant, and
they have some protein.
They have a lot of protein, and and Ramona Farms is the local producer, and they're out at Gila River, and they've been super supportive of the community. And you can make hummus, and boy, we've made chili here, and tacos, and tostadas, and brownies, and yeah, they have a lot of stuff. And I know this week on our Food for Thought video that I know, Tara, you were involved with. You made a tepary bean and roasted chili dip. I know that's what's airing this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, lots of stuff. So lots of things like that. And then, Rhiannon, do you happen to have a favorite Indigenous ingredient?
Just corn.
Corn?
Corn. I specifically like the blue cornmeal.
Okay.
And then also kneel down bread. And in Navajo, it's nitsidikoe, which is just corn. And you can just bake it, and then it's just really good. Sometimes you'll add a little bit of sugar, which is fine. It just makes it a little bit more tasty. So that would be like my go-to Indigenous ingredient.
Okay. And nutritional value for that?
So
I didn't ask you that question before, but
yeah, sorry. So specifically for blue cornmeal, they'll normally add like juniper ash into it. And that nice thing about that is it adds extra calcium. So 1 teaspoon is going to be equivalent to 8 ounces of milk. So that's just like really nice to know, especially if you got people who are lactose intolerant, which I think most Native American people are. But yeah, that's basically the health benefits that I like to emphasize.
So the juniper ash in the blue cornmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so Rhiannon, where do you find your inspiration in the recipes?
Honestly, from social media. Like, I'm always on Instagram, YouTube. There's this lady her name's Navajo Grandma. So sometimes I'll like watch her videos, and it's nice because she goes into like how she makes it, how to say certain things in Navajo. And there's also like a lot of other like Native American chefs and cooks and things like that. So that's where I get my inspiration from, and also from like my family as well, because they're traditional. So just hearing like what they have to say about it, or if we're having like ceremonies, things like that is where I get my inspiration from.
And Tara, where do you get yours?
Yeah, so much like Rhiannon, social media. So there's a lot of really great, like she had mentioned, chefs that are located or that you can find on there. And then also the same thing as well. My family, my aunt is a huge cook, and she's always the person putting together all the meals for everyone. And so she'll make things like steamed corn stew. She'll make fry bread. She'll make blue corn mush sometimes. And then also just stuff that I remember from what was made when I was a kid. So if it's, I think one most recently is sumac berries. So there's a pudding that you can make with it, and I think Navajo Grandma was she.
I didn't see that video yet.
So yeah, I remember eating it when I was a kid, but it wasn't until somebody had mentioned the name, so I went ahead and looked it up, and Navajo Grandma was the one who taught me how to make it.
So is that like sweet?
It's bitter. It's actually
sumac berries are bitter.
Mm-hmm. So they taste really good though. If you kind of like tahine, and you kind of like that sour type of flavor, they taste really good sprinkled on cucumbers.
So what do you do? So you would take the berry, and they're dried, correct? Mm-hmm. And then you would crush it, and then sprinkle it on cucumbers?
Yeah, you can sprinkle it on cucumbers. Some people said they'll eat it by themselves because they like that bitter taste, so they won't crush it. They'll just eat the berries. Or they'll make a pudding out of it. So you take the sumac berries, and then you'll mix it with some flour and some sugar, and then you make a really delicious pudding with it.
Could you also, so if you wanted to eat healthier, since it's National Nutrition Month, could you sprinkle some of the sumac berries on the cucumbers and then make like a tepary bean hummus?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or sprinkle the sumac berries on the top of the hummus to give it a little bit of...
We could make like a recipe card. Maybe you guys could share it. I think that'd be good.
Might have to come up with something.
Yeah.
Something different. Okay.
And they're a good source of... they do have vitamin C in them too. So they're pretty delicious as well.
Okay. That would be sounds pretty tasty to me. So Tara, how would our listeners learn how to begin incorporating Indigenous ingredients into their diet, Tara? Like, would you just sit down and go, you keep talking about Navajo Grandma on YouTube, or would I sit down, or would I just think, I really want to incorporate something local or Indigenous, or both, seasonal? What's the best way to start?
I wouldn't say that. Well, as far as the best way to start, I mean, I guess it's whatever you feel most comfortable with. I was really fortunate to have some family that I can go ahead and ask first, so that way they could go ahead and give me some direction. And then luckily I went into nutrition and dietetics. And so that gave me also a little bit more foundation that I can kind of build on. So once I kind of got that, I went ahead and started just asking questions. It is really intimidating and really scary to start asking people. However, it's probably one of the best ways that you're going to get those answers is just not being scared to ask someone, and then reminding yourself too, like the worst thing they could say is no. But for the most part, most elders that I have talked to, or most people from particular communities, they've always been very welcoming and very inviting to teach about that information. And then the other thing too is, kind of going to some of these community events, just asking the community what some of their traditional foods are.
And we do post a lot of the different events on our Facebook page and on our Instagram. And I think a lot of it, and then a lot on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. There's also a lot of great cookbooks. When we started looking at Food for Thought and some of the programs that we've got, we have quite an array of cookbooks from everything from, Sean Sherman's Sous Chef and, Freddie Batsui, who's at, I think, White Mountain or San Carlos, and, lots of people. So we have lots of different things to draw from as well. So I know if you're intimidated by asking somebody, you can always find the cookbook, find a recipe, and then also like Alana Yazzie, the Fancy Navajo, her new cookbook. She's got some great stuff in there as well. And I believe there's a lot of, I think she's got nutritional values in there as well. It's a great cookbook. So, Rhiannon, how do you incorporate Indigenous foods into your cooking at home?
For me, it's very similar to Tara. I just go with what I have. So my main thing is always going to be corn, the Three Sisters, corn, squash, beans. And I like cooking it in different varieties because I also have a daughter, and knowing her, she has her phases where she doesn't want certain things. So I try to for example, squash, I'll fry it or I'll put it in the oven. I'll add cheese to it. I'll put it in a smoothie, whatever that might look like for you. Just do that because there's really no specific way to cook food. So that's just some of the ways I like to do it. And then obviously also participating in community events as well. And this is when I'm back home on the reservation, just because it's more common there. But yeah, those are some ways that I like to prepare my Indigenous ingredients.
So when you're cooking at home, is it fresh? Is it frozen? Is it canned, whether it's here or back up north? What do you prefer?
I prefer frozen. Okay. I don't really like canned, but that's not to say that the nutritional value of canned vegetables is bad. It's just my own preference, and also fresh as well.
Okay. All right. And Tara, what about you? How do you incorporate Indigenous foods into your cooking?
So this is pretty much the same way as Rhiannon had mentioned. So I'll, if it's the tepary beans, because they do take quite a while to cook, I'll definitely cook some of those in batches, and then I'll just go ahead and freeze some of it, so that way I can just pull it out as I need it. Or I'll do canned as well. So I do canned beans a lot. I'm pretty busy, so... Or I'll go ahead and do frozen as well. But yeah, I usually incorporate all of them. I'll do fresh, I'll do canned, I'll do frozen.
So you do everything?
I do everything.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. So let me bounce back to Rhiannon. So what's your favorite Indigenous recipe, which I think you sort of mentioned would be the kneel down bread, right? That's your favorite one?
Kneel down bread and blue cornmeal.
Okay.
I like the blue cornmeal because it reminds me of when I was super young, and that just goes back to the theme of food connects us. At least for me, I think about all my family at a gathering or a ceremony or whatever that might be, and also to school as well. Because I did have this is kind of going off topic, but I did have a teacher who was Hopi, and for one of our end of the year little dinners, she made nothing but Hopi food, and it was so good. I always think about that. I don't know why, it was just so delicious.
It's cool.
So anyways, going back to my favorite recipe, it's definitely blue cornmeal because you can always add fruits on top. You can add nuts and seeds. If you want to add a little bit of powdered peanut butter, you can. And
so savory or sweet.
Yeah. So you can just change it however you want. So that's why I like it. It's very versatile.
And then do you give that to your daughter also?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
she loves
likes
it.
that?
Yeah.
And she like kneel down bread too?
Yes and no. It just depends on like how her mood is, but for the most part she does, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Tara, what is your favorite Indigenous recipe?
My favorite Indigenous recipe, picking just one. Let's see.
Okay, 2 or 3.
I mean, I do really like the sumac berries, so I do like the pudding that you can make with it. It's becoming one of my favorites right now, and I believe it was my favorite when I was a kid, just because when my grandma would serve it and everything, I would always want it added. Like I'd always want second helpings of it. But whenever I do remember though, whenever she would make it, it was always the smaller pot next to the bigger pot of blue corn mush. But after seeing how it gets harvested and everything, I now understand why it was just a little pot, because the berries are pretty tiny. And the other thing is beans. I just like beans.
That's like your thing. Beans. All right.
And I mean, it just goes so well with everything. You know, I can pair it with tortilla chips. I can add salsa to it. I could add, and we had it all the time when we were kids too. It was the thing that was always there, but it was pinto beans. And so it felt like we had pinto beans on the side of tortillas, or pinto beans and fry bread, or pinto beans on a side of potatoes. And so
I'm getting hungry.
Beans are good. And then, so are you both, do you eat very much meat or vegetarian?
I'm mostly plant-based, so
Yeah, both of you?
No, not me. I love me some meat. Chicken, steak, yep, mutton. Yeah.
So he had me ask that question.
no, but
Because I'm vegetarian, So Rhiannon, what are your thoughts about protein? How much should you get every day? Any suggestions or ideas?
Yeah, I love protein. I have it every day. The recommended amount is going to be 0.8 to 1.0 grams per kilogram per day. And that's just going to depend also on other things. That's for like a general healthy adult, depending if you have, other medical conditions like kidney disease that might lower the protein a little bit. But for the most part, I love protein. So like chicken, all the meat products, eggs, also plant-based as well. So I love edamame, which is like a soybean product. Or they're really good with a little bit of salt. That's a good way to get protein in. Milk, dairy products. But yeah, there's no reason to stay away from any protein or any meat product specifically. So.
Okay. And Tara, how about you? What are your thoughts on protein, and how much should you get every day? Do you follow with what Rhiannon's saying?
Yeah, so as far as proteins recommended, it's always good to have. It is beneficial for developing our muscles. And as far as the recommendations are concerned, if you're not wanting to do the calculations or anything like that, you could always use the plate method, where you have a plate in front of you that is 9 inches across and then a quarter of that plate. Or if you need something else to sort of measure it by, thinking of a deck of cards or your palm of your hand as your reference. So the portion size for protein should be about that. I think the most important thing is just thinking about ways to vary your proteins and not incorporating as much processed. So limiting things like your bologna or your salami, and then focusing on more of those leaner proteins. So like the chicken, the leaner cuts of meats, fish.
And if you don't like meat, what are some good options?
Beans.
Yeah, beans. Going back to Tara's
Sorry,
beans.
we're going to go back to beans. Okay, beans are
Beans,
good.
tofu, any
Yogurt?
kind of nuts. Yeah, I guess yogurt. There's a lot of different other ways to get it. Also supplements, if that's something you feel is necessary. But I only go to that if you're like in the hospital or something, not meeting your needs. Because I also work as a clinical dietitian too at a hospital here. So that's just another thing that's coming up right now about protein. But yeah, there's definitely so many ways to get it in besides getting meat products.
Okay. All right. So, Tara, where can people find local Indigenous ingredients? I know we mentioned Ramona Farms, that they've got Tepary beans and other products that you can purchase either online through them or other vendors like that, like Bitty Baby Foods. And I'm trying to think of some other ones. But any places that you can think of or online, or what would you recommend?
There's that gas station right out at the Beeline and
Oh,
McDowell.
at Salt River?
Yeah, so they actually sell Ramona Farms.
The Stand. Isn't it the Stand?
Oh, the Stand is one of the
Restaurants. That's fry bread. Okay.
Yeah,
But the store. Okay.
it's like the gas station. Sorry, I should have looked up the name. But
Okay. All right. That's fine. So it's at Salt River on McDowell and Beeline.
Yes.
Okay.
And then on top of that too, like what you had mentioned, and then you can also go on Native Seed Search as well, and then they'll have some ingredients there. There's the food co-op in Tucson that you can go to. I think it's there is a food co-op there that you can go to, and you can purchase some indigenous ingredients there as well.
I'm just thinking of because I go back home often, going to the flea market and roadside, and
true.
it depends what part you're from. During the fairs, the Navajo Nation fairs, there's so many vendors who sell the seeds and things like that. So that's also another way to stock up too. So.
And you can also grow your own things, right? From Native Seed Search, right?
Yeah.
Get some seeds and grow some stuff locally that fits with our seasons, our growing season down here, and drought tolerant and heat tolerant. So, all right, so lots of ideas. So, Rhiannon, I know you mentioned that you are with Native Health WIC. There's multiple locations, and I know now WIC is accepting some walk-ins, correct? So, Wednesday walk-in or Thursday walk-in, I heard that you'll be able to do that and walk into WIC.
Yes.
Right?
So that will be specifically at Mesa.
Okay.
Until we get our CPA, our WIC educator fully trained. So probably early April is when that will start. But if you do want to walk in or are interested, please come in. I'm not going to tell you not to go. We're not going to turn you away. But yeah, that's just another option. And it'll be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it kind of gives that extra leeway for parents who work, the normal 8 to 5 job. So that's what will be coming with WIC. And then also us opening up our Dunlap location pretty soon.
And if you want to come into WIC, you have to be pregnant and have a child under the age of 5, right? And you have to meet financial criteria.
Yep. And you can find that income guidelines on Native Health WIC, or you could also look at Intertribal Council of Arizona WIC. But if you do have access insurance, that will automatically make you eligible for our program too.
If you have access.
Okay.
And then if you have SNAP or TANF, do you automatically qualify or not? Yes.
Yes, that as well.
Access, SNAP, and TANF. Okay.
Yeah, we prefer access because we have the provider login, so we can actually manually see. Unless you already have your eligibility letter from SNAP or TANF, that will work too.
Okay. And what do you get with WIC?
WIC, you get a variety of things. So you get nutrition counseling. We also are a stop to provide any referrals. We help with breastfeeding education. We are also giving out our farmers market nutrition program card. So that's just an additional supplement for families. If you are on WIC, you can contact us and we can give that to you and give you those further details. Other benefits obviously include you get canned fruit and vegetables, fresh vegetables. We did add organic to the list as well. Peanut butter, canned beans, milk, depending on what age group, formula, if that's something that you choose to go with. Yogurt. Anyways, yeah, there's just a whole food list. You can find it on Native Health WIC page, but it is a good variety and it renews every month. So
it would be on Native Health's website, nativehealthphoenix.org. Okay. And then in terms of the WIC, so when somebody calls you, you'll just ask them for eligibility guidelines. They can come in, walk in, or make an appointment. And Tara, so tell me so again, your services would be nutrition education. Anybody that would want nutrition education, they could ask their Native Health medical provider, right, for a referral? And then is that in person or could it be virtual?
So typically the first visit, I do encourage to do in person, and then follow-ups can be virtual. And all
Native Health locations?
Yes. So you can find me at the Mesa location on Wednesdays, and then the West location on Fridays, and then Central Monday, Tuesday mornings, and Thursday.
Okay, cool. And I know Tara's also been on Food for Thought videos, so you can catch her on Thursdays at noon. And I know Rhiannon's done a bunch of stuff too, so you can catch both of them. So finally, Rhiannon, one more thing. How can listeners find more information about WIC and contact you? I think there's a special phone number, correct?
Yes. So you can call us directly. The phone number is going to be 800-470-5930. or you can go to the Native Health WIC page and start your pre-application there. There is a link. If you go that route, that's perfect. We can directly contact you and schedule that appointment, or you can just walk into one of our locations.
Okay, one more time, phone number?
It's going to be, sorry, oh my God. It'll be 800-470-5930.
Okay, and that's the best way to contact you as well?
Just our clinic, yes. And then my extension, if you want to talk to me directly, it'll be 43002.
Okay, cool. All right, and Tara, how can people contact you?
So you can just go ahead and come into the clinic, and then if you have some additional questions, let your provider know, and then they can go ahead and put you in, or then you can go ahead and get in contact with me.
Cool. Okay. So Rhiannon and Tara, thanks for coming on. It's been very interesting. I now know your favorite foods and your recipes. I appreciate your time and telling us about your different programs, and can't wait to have you on again. So thank you again.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. I appreciate this opportunity, especially highlighting us as registered dietitians, and to hopefully let more people know about what we do in the community.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentoKRDP.com.